Well, welcome, guys. Good to have you here. Everyone excited about agentic commerce? The ability for AI to be able to solve some of the most mundane things that all of us as merchants have to deal with, things like order processing, shipping notifications, dealing with returns. How many of you have spent late nights dealing with a customer on the other end of a chat bot or a phone or email conversation? Well, agentic AI holds the promise to be able to solve for a lot of that so we can focus on what we do best, and that is create and innovate. And so today I'm joined with friends here, merchants and strategic partners who are installing PayPal solutions each and every day. So I want to introduce you here first to my friend Drew from Angeli. And then we've got Martin here from Shopware. And then we've got Jonathan here from UltraCart. So we're going to just open this up to a few questions. We're going to make this interactive towards the end of the conversation here today. Just want to open this up for each of you to bring your questions to us, because this is really, at the end of the day, all about you. Today is PayPal Dev Days. So developers, take these tools, take them out there, and build your own products and solutions to make the world a better place. So I want to start by asking this: who's traveled the furthest? We're a small, intimate group. We can kind of like have fun here. Who's traveled the furthest to be here today? New York? Germany? But you're from Germany. Germany. What part? Oh, okay. Are you guys close together in Germany? Same office. Well, that's going to be a tie then. We've got Germany. Has anyone traveled further than Germany? All right, then you get the shirt today. Thanks for being here all the way from Germany. All right, so the very first question is, you have choices, you have options when it comes to merchant systems to integrate with your e-commerce stores. What led you to PayPal? You got the mic first, Jonathan.
Well, first off, we have the distinction of being slightly older than PayPal by 3 years. So if you want to know about the dinosaurs of the internet or any of those topics, see me afterwards. Our choice to choose PayPal boils down to they bring the most functionality in a single set of APIs for alternative payments and direct credit card payments of any payment provider in the industry. And we see the results in what our customers are choosing when they check out. And the PayPal brand, PayPal Fastlane, up and coming quickly, along with all the other payments they support, is the reason that we chose PayPal as our primary strategic payment partner.
I will go next. So you already learned that I'm from Germany, so it's a little bit a different market around there. You tell yourself a dinosaur. I think we are almost also around 25 years on the market. So when the internet was really new, and we are serving the European market, and it's a little bit different from here, because when this all gets started in Germany, credit cards and stuff were not that around. So it was really a problem to pay online. I really remember myself sending money, cash, by mail to a merchant. So I think having a PayPal wallet, this is something every German customer has a PayPal wallet. So the wallet business in Germany is really huge. And for a German merchant and a European merchant having support, not having support for PayPal, this is absolutely a no-brainer. You have to have support for PayPal. It's very essential there. And now we see the shift to alternative payment methods coming to Europe too, of course. And so we think that the shift in the offering of PayPal comes to the right side. So we are really partnering with PayPal for long years, and it's a very valuable partnership. Yeah, and we are building on top of this every year.
So yeah, I'll probably repeat some of that, but the dinosaur stuff, I was actually graduating high school in that year 2000 and computer geek through that time and just doing basic web development, kind of teaching myself how to do that stuff. And I needed payments, and that was right around the time PayPal was kind of becoming a thing. And when I started searching, how am I going to solve this payment problem? The credit cards and all that was pretty difficult at the time. Still kind of can be in a way, a lot of ways. But PayPal made it easy for me. Back then it was just the buttons. And then I kind of got to learn and grow with everything PayPal's done all these years. I like to say I've just been riding their coattails, and it's been a wonderful coat to ride, and that just continues now with all this new stuff we're seeing. But yeah, they just made it easy. Same kind of thing. All the payments in a single integration. One-stop shop. You're pretty much done and integrated, ready to go. Made it easy.
Well, I guess I don't need that. I've got my own mic. I'm good. So I'm Derek Archer with Hit Your Mark Media, and after I was here at the PayPal Dev Day last year, we were inspired by Fastlane. So I went back home, and one of my merchants is on BigCommerce. We saw the implementation guidelines, and they weren't lying. It was 1, 2, 3, super easy to set up and integrate with BigCommerce. And so we set that up for them, wrote the owner, said, hey, listen, here's all these things about Fastlane, and it's live on your site. Go check it out. So if you guys haven't been playing with the new PayPal developer tools yet, I highly recommend that you start doing so, because I think they've done a great job of implementing for an e-commerce application today. They're no longer just a personal digital wallet from where they started. Well, that takes me here to the next question. Listen, we're in tech, and tech has a lot of difficulties, challenges to overcome with it. So I'd love each one of you, since you've got the mic, we'll kick it back to you and work in reverse direction on this one, just to talk about maybe some of the challenges that you've run into in incorporating a merchant service into an e-commerce platform, and how PayPal has maybe helped you overcome those challenges, perhaps more recently. What's been the growth trajectory you've seen in PayPal on the developer side?
So yeah, for me, kind of again, speaking back to when I first started all of this, the biggest challenge was just figuring payments out. And PayPal basically taught me how to do API integration at the same time I was learning all the payments. And that was just really cool for a lot of reasons. I got to be, the computer nerd that I am and figure all that stuff out. And again, all the way through today, as they've released all these new things, I kind of start to hit a roadblock of some sort. Oh, here's a new tool that helps you break down that roadblock. And then, oh, here's another one. Here's another new tool. So all the way up to the agentic stuff, I'm still it's all brand new. So I'm playing with that here recently, and really excited to kind of take that next wave of solving these problems of merchants and the questions, and just so much more than just payments. And now kind of tying all that together in these new tools. It's pretty exciting to play with.
So as you can see, I'm not the tech guy in here, but I can also tell you some stories about integrating with PayPal. So every time we facing a new challenge in the e-commerce world, we are starting in Europe. Our merchants are expanding into the world, so their demands are also changing. And we figured out that PayPal is always a little bit ahead, has a solution for us. So we approach PayPal, and to be honest, it's for me as a product manager, it's not always a technical problem, technical solution. I need people to talk to. I need colleagues from your side with whom I can discuss things. And we get this wonderful feedback from them, and we get every year new products for our merchants fitting the right spot. So we are this year we are wanting to do so much new stuff, and we had lots of talks and sessions with your partners already this year, and you always come up with new stuff. And so there was never a situation where we can't solve a problem together, and I think this is very special for PayPal.
Well, let's face it here, Martin. Sometimes that feedback hasn't always been wonderful. Sometimes it's been painful, right? Sometimes it's about solving difficult problems, and you don't want to hear it. Oh no, I've got to go ahead and now fix this bug that came up. But thank you for your kind words, and we try to do our best in supporting our merchants.
So for us, it really boils down to relationship. Mm-hmm. When choosing to work with PayPal, there are great people on the other side of the equation. And a large organization as PayPal becomes very small when you find yourself on the other side of a Slack Connect channel doing real-time collaboration with an integration engineer, and you're having properly cadenced Teams meetings. Love Teams, by the way. So glad. But we are able to move through product launch after product launch after product launch. We go from being presented the idea to being in development and reaching GA in an incredibly short amount of time. And we did that with Fastlane. We decided, I believe in 2023, we decided to overhaul the entire PayPal stack. So, I mean, we had code all the way back to the MVP API days. And, you know, to overhaul everything is a little bit of pain. But when you have great integration engineers to ask and answer questions, you can solve those problems. And that's really the differentiator. It's not just great documentation, go read the manual, but there's great people behind PayPal.
That's a great question. Yeah, relationships are what make the world go round, right? And so with this whole agentic AI that we just learned about, we're creating a system that allows a one-to-one customer support ratio. You saw the demo of someone just talking to it and it giving personalized answers to his or her needs as it came to the shoes or the tent or the dress. And so we're really excited about what we can do now going into this era of agentic AI to be able to fuel the merchant services online. So the next question I have, and really this one's for you, Martin, since you're representing us here from Europe, you're dealing with a lot of different currencies. We're used to the US dollar. Has PayPal enabled you to be able to do conversions easily and quickly at the checkout?
Yeah, absolutely. So dealing with different currencies, it's a little bit of a pain in the European market, as you can see. Not as much as taxes are here in the US, of course. That I have to
We
tell
love
you.
taxes, especially in California.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, of course. So for us, this is really a set-up solution. So our merchants, we build a whole PayPal integration with all your products. We have a one-click installation for this, and from this moment on, all the currency information that is stored in the shop is basically transferred to your solution, and no worries for our customers, for our merchants. So we see absolutely no pains there.
Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else have a currency conversion story, or how about maybe
necessarily specific to currency conversions, but again, just the fact that it's all happens on the same stack, and whatever currency you feed into the SDK that's loading the tools for that buyer, that, you know, from even just the language itself to the currency, it's all just kind of part of it. Makes it super easy. And as a developer, I never really had to deal too much with that. Maybe that's because I'm mostly dealing with the United States, but yeah, just part of it. Makes it simple. Love it.
One of the benefits to being able to transact in their native currency is you presented them pricing in euros or Canadian dollars, and they check out and they think that the amount is a certain total on their receipt. But if you're truly just transacting in your base currency of USD, somewhere on your receipt you got the little fine print that says, oh yeah, by the way, the currency conversion was this, and we actually charged you. And with PayPal, you can transact in all of the native currencies, and it'll deal with it on the back end. And so that's a great benefit to using PayPal. And, you know, it's as simple as, you know, getting the currency codes correct in your API calls.
I'm curious, do any of you deal with international exchange rates or anything like that? Show of hands, we can kind of maybe dive into those questions later. How about PayPal's crypto coin? Okay, we can maybe ask some of those questions as we get in a bit more. Another question for the panel here. So what do you find to be some of the most useful features of PayPal? Maybe that could be something from API calls or ease of setting up subscriptions or payment links, or have you seen the new integrated shopping cart with the button that just was released a couple months ago?
The biggest feature for us in the overhaul, vaulted payments.
Okay.
Being able to vault PayPal and PayPal Fastlane and Venmo and Apple Pay and treat that for your subscription management exactly like credit cards is huge. There is no limitations when we use PayPal compared to a direct credit card. We can do subscriptions, we can do our upsell after sequences, we can do all those features, and without vaulted payments, That would be a non-starter. We have some merchants that their upsell sequence will literally turn a $100 transaction into a $500 transaction. They are not interested in any payment methods that take away that opportunity to make that much more revenue. So for us, vaulted payments compared to billing agreements is game changer.
I absolutely agree on this. We released our subscription feature roughly a year ago, and we talked to a lot of payment service providers. Sorry to say that, but there was no solution out there like vaulting, and it's such a game changer. Makes so much possible from our integrated solution, but we see our merchants building on top of this and finding new ways to facilitate this. So vaulting is for us the way to go. This is great. To add something?
One other point about that. PayPal's sitting on 430 million wallets right now.
Good point.
And they're updating those cards. So you if you just do standard transactions and subscriptions, you're going to have somewhere around a 35 to 40% attrition rate just through expiration date. And so if you're not running a card updater, then you're going to have unnecessary friction for those customers. And when you're vaulting with PayPal, not only is the credit card being updated, but if they switch credit cards, you're still dealing with that PayPal wallet as a whole. So it's huge.
Stole my thunder a little bit there with the real-time automated update system, but that's okay. Outside of just coding, just recently learned about a tool basically a demo site. So a lot of times I'm working with merchants, and again, computer nerd in me, I'm all technical, and it's hard to help them visualize what exactly they're going to see. And there's lots of options for button styles and colors and shapes and all these things. How's it going to look and feel on my website? And recently they launched a new tool. It's basically a demo store that allows you to go through and set everything up and kind of change those options and show the person this is what it's going to look and feel like. And then they can say, yes, that's what I want. And it gives you all the options, like the JavaScript parameters and everything you would need to make it look and feel exactly like that. So then I can take that and move on. That's recent development, and it's already been super helpful.
So I'll go back to you. I'll build on that. So you said this new demo store that you can play with. For the sake of those in attendance, where can they find that demo store?
Yeah, so at the developer site, developer.paypal.com, and the tools. And and they've got a kiosk out here apparently. So I didn't even know about that. I'm going to go check that out. But yeah, on the developer website, they've got links to it, and lots of different tools actually have been released here recently that just play under that tools tab, and you'll find lots of goodies.
And so talking about the tools, what have you noticed maybe changed over the years since you've been with PayPal for many, many years as a systems integrator? Has it gotten easier for us as developers to be able to find the answers to the questions we have as we're developing?
Definitely, yeah. The developer side in general, the documentation has gone through a lot of waves over the years, and it's always had the answers there, but you had to dig quite a bit more. This stuff's all being tied directly into the IDEs now. It's being tied into these agents and into these LLM tools, and just being able to ask the question and get the answer or be pointed directly to it, or just have it embedded right into your coding software. It's so much faster, so much easier. And yeah, that's all available right there.
We were just laughing before we came over here. No offense, Greg, but now with AI, we can actually just ask our question, just kick that right back over to us. No more hunting needed on the developer side. And oh man, you did. And that's actually, I think it's /tools, developer.paypal.com/tools, if you want to go and play with some of those new tools that have been released. So anything that you'd like to say on the developer side? Or
As you know, I'm not a developer, so I asked my colleague this question. What do you think about the PayPal SDK? And he thought a little second, and he said, let me just do my work. And you have to know, for a German guy, this is kind of a compliment. So I think it's fine.
Well said.
I mean, from our perspective, the SDK is well documented. We don't need another jar in our application all the time. And the dependencies that go with it. And what I like about the PayPal API is we can just code straight to it. It's a well-documented REST API. We can do a lightweight integration, which we did. But then on the JavaScript side, you're doing so much with JavaScript. You're loading buttons in different ways. And the SDK, whoever developed the JavaScript SDK, thought long and hard about how it loads, and it plays nicely with everything else on the page. We can load the Venmo, the Apple Pay, the PayPal, the Fastlane in the different ways that we need, and it just works. And it's very robust and highly available. So it plays well.
So I'll just ask you this, Jonathan, while you've got the mic there. If you've run into issues, have you found support and help from the PayPal community, from developers like us, or have you been able to find that help even straight from PayPal itself? Or Max over here, he's just such a whiz for you, Martin, that he doesn't even need it. He just goes in and knocks it out.
You know, from our perspective, during our integration projects, as long as we capture that debug ID and we go off to, we've had many IEs on the various projects, all amazing. But if you can have a request that you're having problems with and you give them the debug ID, they can go look up the request and the response, figure out what was wrong with it, give you a quick solution. Honestly, I think we have opened up 0 direct support cases related to APIs. I mean,
that makes Greg happy.
Yeah, I mean,
So I think we at Shopware, we are one of the biggest partners in Europe. But so we have colleagues from your side guiding us. And this is what I already said. They are in Slack. They are reachable all the time. They even answer my questions. So shout outs to them. It's great.
Sure, I would just say it's definitely MTS, Merchant Technical Support. They've been my friend a lot of years, and it's been greatly improved the past few years, especially. If I ever do need to submit a ticket of some sort, debug IDs are very important, and fresh debug IDs, I would say, to add to that. If you give them one that's 2 months old, they're probably not going to be able to figure anything out for you. But you get fresh debug IDs, you'll get quick answers, quick responses. Just being in the communities, I hang out in the communities a lot, kind of providing a lot of the answer questions, and that's a great way. If you're not already doing that, and I would definitely invite you to get in there and help me to help all these people, because there's a lot of leads, a lot of work in there. These people need the help, and if you're the one answering the questions, you're the one they're going to come to get some things done. Sure. So just kind of the various ones. I mean, in Facebook groups or even Reddit or the PayPal developer they've got. I think it's PayPal Community, or what is that site? Community.com. Oh, they're cutting. Okay, I guess they're turning that off, but that was one of the ones.
PayPal Champions.
Yeah, the Champions group is kind of
Slack,
the new thing.
Teams.
Yep. All the different channels, all the social channels you can think of. There's usually PayPal groups of some, or developer groups, payment groups. Might not be specific to PayPal every time.
You can find a lot on GitHub.
But yeah, GitHub's another great one. Yeah. So yeah, Yep. There's a lot of good Discord groups. I mean, a lot of times in there, it'll be Discord, a lot of the gamers and
2 different sides of the apple, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of developer are you looking for? They're a GitHub developer or a Discord developer. So pick which one you want to work with.
But yeah, there's people in there asking questions about how to accomplish this stuff. And so just hang out in there. You'll see those questions and you can jump in on them.
So let's go ahead and build on that here. And let's talk for a second about the roadmap. We just heard a great presentation from the main stage on the PayPal roadmap, introducing agentic AI into commerce solutions. Do either of you deal with fraud at all in your payment processing? And how do you think that maybe AI might play a role in helping you cut down on that?
First of all, to hear so much about AI, agentic AI stuff is great for us, because we are also going deep into this topic. We built the first AI features into our platform 2 years ago. So for us, and today I think fraud protection is a very important topic, not only for the customer, for the merchant. Keeping every dollar, every euro, as we say, is very important today. So if you imagine how much products you have to sell more to earn back a dollar that you lose. So having support there is very important, and we see that a lot of our merchants, of course, at the moment depend on regular old fraud protection systems, but the AI stuff is sneaking in there. So I'm very curious to see what's coming up there and what PayPal will offer.
Like a lot of platforms, the fraud rules are, very basic, velocity rules, size of the ticket, etc. And all you're trying to do with those fraud rules is slow down the automation so that you don't have the fraudulent order go to the 3PL and it's out the door by 2:00, and we didn't realize we were shipping 3 cases of sweatshirts to, Caribbean country. That doesn't make sense. But when you slow it down, a human still has to look at that order and just give it that, we call it the sniff test. Does it smell right? Maybe, the customer's history or a repeat customer. And we envision being able to take a large amount of contextual information from the shopper's experience. How did they navigate the site? What are they buying? Have they bought before? How does their ticket compare to the average ticket? What kind of shipping method did they pick? What's the reputation of that IP address? What did it score with? Maybe we hit it off of a MaxMind service and scored it. We can give the same amount of information to an AI model and ask it to rate that transaction, just like we could present all that to a person and say, hey, what do you think? And so we envision AI sitting alongside the person who either hits the thumbs up or thumbs down on the order.
Maybe I can ask. Sorry, maybe I can ask you a question back. So you are really doing this today, and what are your experience in there? So how are the
right now we're just presenting all the information to the user. We present a big fraud breakdown from a third party. We present the history of it. We present the page view history. So we're asking the user right now. It's one of about 10 initiatives that we have on the drawing board right now to help automate some of these features. And I don't see it replacing the person ultimately clicking thumbs up or thumbs down. It's that advice alongside that, a summary of all that fraud information. And it's pennies on the dollar. Like what you're going to spend on the model cost to crunch that with a good thinking model is going to be trivial compared to, the savings.
Yeah, just one more quick thing to add to that, along the lines of riding the coattails of PayPal, like I like to. They do have fraud filters that you can enable, and one of the things that they have in that now is kind of an AI filter. And if you toggle that one on, there's just a slider, and if you slide it all the way to the right, it's going to be super sensitive and maybe block a bunch of things or some things that you might not want. If you slide it a little bit left, it'll be a little bit more lax on that. So you can kind of just fine tune it with a slider and see what's going to work best for what you're dealing with. Not so much. Well, I mean, spam orders, it could be. I would similar to a spam filter, but it's more for orders on your like payments happening and all the data that PayPal has in their system that can kind of flag what might be a little bit suspect when it's happening. And based on that one fraud filter, it can cover a lot of those bases for you. So you don't have to tie in all these individual checks. So those options are still there if you want to really fine tune things. But if you want to try to simplify, I've found a lot of success just using that AI slider, and it works really well for a lot of the merchants that I work with.
So let's talk about security for a second. Let's go ahead and just paint the picture here. There's a lot of people who are worried about giving AI access to your data, to your merchant, e-commerce, online store, and platform. Does that give you any heartburn, or what kind of things are you looking at that you can maybe pass along to us that reassures us?
So in today's modern world of agentic AI that we're talking about at this conference, MCP protocol, so you're asking the agent to decide which tools it wants to call, and then you, the developer, are fulfilling the request. So for example, if an unauthenticated customer starts chatting with your bot, you can force them through authentication flows first and make sure that they're truly who they are. And then you can decide to give the AI agent their order history. You can decide how much of that, and you could ask the AI agent to, clarify the type of request. Is this payment? Is this shipping? You can really tailor what you provide back to the model. And if you haven't done it already, it's kind of magical because you don't define what you're going to return. You just return JSON, and the model decides on how to interpret it. So you are in the complete driver's seat as to how much information you're providing these models. So, and you can limit PII data. You don't have to just dump the entire, truck into the AI model. You can tune it down to a nice set of data that you're comfortable with and watch how the model performs.
So first of all, we are mainly dealing with European merchants. So in the European Union, the laws are very strict, and there's a little bit of uncertainty still left. So we don't really actually know at the end what we are allowed to do and what not. It can be a good thing, can be a bad thing. I won't judge here. And on the second side, we ask our merchants on this. So we are thinking about agents for shoppers and agents for merchants. So we took our chance to ask our merchants, how would you trust an agent to perform tasks on your shop, for example, create a promotion? And we see that they are not so trustful than the consumers. So I would see agentic adoption more on the shopper side first, and maybe it's a European thing. The merchants will come later, or they are not so used to it. We have to show them what this can mean for them, so that they can build trust.
And I think one other aspect of working with AI, especially in regulated environments, you're under a different set of restrictions than a U.S. merchant. But a lot of these cloud providers, AWS, we're an AWS shop, so I can speak to that. They're running that model in their region under their strict guidelines. So if you're using, say, Claude on AWS Bedrock, you know that your data is not flying off to some Anthropic does not even have your own data,
Yes.
right? So, obviously read the terms and conditions very closely on what AI models you're using. But I think you will find that you can find an environment to run your AI workloads. And the other thing about MCP is it lets you decouple. You can have a model running in Europe and talking to an MCP server at PayPal and vice versa, because you're coordinating all the data transfer between it. And it's really magical.
Bottom line, don't use the free version of ChatGPT, okay? So just in the interest of time, to keep it moving here, we want to turn the conversation towards you, and then we want to invite you guys to ask us some questions. So I'll ask this, and then we'll turn it over, and then Karen's going to be, she has the mic, so just raise your hand when we open it up for questions. We'll take those here. But as we think about the future of PayPal, and we talk to the room, are there developer advice or merchant advice that you would offer to those here today to be thinking about what you should be doing coming up?
For me, again, as a developer, just playing in the playground of all these tools that we're being given. I've been in the PayPal and payments game for so long that I kind of just use this as my playground. And when these new tools come out, that's where I like to go and play and learn and figure out what kind of ideas can even come about when you start doing all this stuff. It never ends. It's amazing. I love chatting with these things. And now that you can tie all this data into it, it's just so much fun. That's the way I like to do it.
So my team and I, we are responsible for payments, of course, and for checkout in a broader perspective. And this is mainly the most important topic in a e-commerce environment. Get the payments done, get the checkout experience. But what we see is this is not the main concern of merchants. So please, please, please stay up to date, review your own solution regularly, and really see what possibilities are out there with this agentic stuff. You told it in your keynote before. it's getting much more easier to adopt to make customization there. So take this chance and build new business models.
Upgrade everything. Retire your legacy debt. There's no better time. It's amazing. You could take a piece of code on the older API and say, please port this to orders v2 in this language, and it will do 95 to 98% of the work for you. So if you're working on a legacy code base that you haven't updated in a while, now's the time to update all of it so that you are at the proper foundation for everything that's coming down the pipe from PayPal. So there's no better time to retire that debt.
So with that, guys, I want to just say I'm extremely excited about the future of technology and specifically what AI is doing for the e-commerce space. And there's probably some fears, maybe even in this room, that AI is going to replace my job or it's going to make me less relevant. And I just want to offer to you that it's going to take away the grunt work, the burden work, to free you up to be able to create and innovate at the speed of thought. And so if you aren't repurposing yourself to be that creator and innovator, now's a great time to start. And so with that, I'll give it over to you guys to open it up for questions. Oh, sorry, got the mic behind you. Just one second.
Hi. I started building an application about 8 months ago. It's called Care AI Help. And it's basically an AI that allows you to diagnose someone that you're looking after. It also allows you to do checkups on that person that you're looking after. When I was building the application, the only platform that I found for payments was Stripe. But still not working right now. It's still not on the working stage. And when I was working, I was using Ripple to the no-code app building application. At the time, I asked the AI to build the payment processing for the subscription base. That's the only solution that it gave me, Stripe. How, if I want to go from Stripe to use the PayPal system, how would I go about it? Does the AI, do I have to indicate from the AI that use the PayPal development kit, or how would I do that, since it's a no-code based application? And
My friend, you are in the right place. We are so glad you are here. Karen is running the hackathon with Replit. She can actually show you how to do that, as well as many other people who say, talk code to me, okay? So get with us after this session. We're going to help you do just that. Glad you're here. We've got time for one or two more questions.
One more question. Hello. I have been coding for 5 years. I'm self-taught, and I chose, every language that I know. I'm practically full stack. I know front end and back end a little bit. I just started using AI, ChatGPT. Probably like maybe a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And I find it to be like a partner, like a person that can help. Because for a while, I was like, there's nobody to help. There's nobody to help. Now I feel like I have a person that helps. And I wanted to know, when you said don't use the free version of ChatGPT or something. You said it frees you up from stuff, and you guys are looking for like creativity and innovation. Can you elaborate on what you guys want? What does AI replace and all that?
Yeah, just very briefly here, and I appreciate the question. The reason why I said don't use the free version of ChatGPT, I meant that in the context of with sensitive data. Just because you don't have an agreement in place with ChatGPT on the free version, they have access to all of your data. So just be careful whatever you're connecting and putting in there. If you want to go ahead and do that in a safe, secure way, set up a EULA agreement, go ahead and run your own server or use a cloud-based server. I think you should use AWS, right? Yep, so to go ahead and do that, we're happy to go ahead and work with you here to help you in the right direction. But use AI, just be careful what you're putting into AI.
Yeah, you'll find that if you search the term vibe coding, it's kind of the term for it, where you're building an application and you're doing it just by prompting the model. And you can start off with, and it doesn't matter which, I mean, I can tell you there's people who are fan clubs of every AI model. They're all very worthy. So pick your favorite one that you like the interface for and just start off exploring that application idea. I would argue that today, in one weekend, you can build a 5,000 line app with 98% vibe coding. You can explore an idea, like you go home and an idea pops in your head, you're walking into the office on Monday with a prototype going, let me show you something. And you can see what your team's doing. I will routinely discuss what my architecture thoughts are with the AI model to tease out things. And I'll go back and forth for maybe an hour or two with an architecture idea. And maybe I don't understand, like I just got into some vector database work. I didn't know what vector databases fully were. And I went back and forth with the model till I educated myself. And then I had explained my application idea. And I walked away with a recommendation on a vendor to use. And so, explore your ideas with AI. It can teach you. As a solo, it's the best Stack Overflow you've ever come across. So, that'd be my recommendation.
And just to point you guys in the right direction as we wrap up, go to developer.paypal.com/tools, NCP-server. You can find a lot more information there on some of the things we're talking about. Thank you all so much, and we hope to see you in the next session.